Well, welcome to all of you who survived this last weekend and and all of the craziness going on in the world. I'm looking at a note on my desk that I wrote down in the middle of our meeting last week, and I wrote down play rather than replay. And I looked at it and I love that. And that's going to be part of what we're exploring today, that when you let yourself open up to play and just all of the permission in play, it allows you to cycle things through rather than recycling them. I was thinking about the the power of attention. Oh, one thing to let you know that my medication is creating lots of phlegm in me today. So I may pause for a moment to hawk a bit. So just letting you know. And also, I've been blowing my nose, so my nose is red. So here we are, just sharing. This is me today. You be you. And that's part of what I love, is we can just show up how we are. I am, however, I wanted to let you know, I am demonstrably getting better in all kinds of dimensions. So I have one more month of my protocol, and it's like a little bit, it's a benign roto-rooter. It's moving these spike proteins out of my body. So sometimes I'm very tired, and sometimes I have a lot of energy, and sometimes I'm very phlegmy. And so, it's kind of like life, but accelerated. So I was thinking about the basics, that what humans, and I think all sentient creatures, which is including our planetary companions, what we need in order to flourish is safety, a felt experience of safety, and a felt experience of connection. Everything else, in my opinion, is extra. And it occurred to me that our looping practice does both of those. So when I'm looping, I'm actually giving my attention. I am looking at you, and that when we are giving our attention to other people, we are giving them our regard. And so attention is not just looking, it is regard. So I'm including you in my world. And so as you're, what I would love for you to do today is to just look at someone who's here on the call and let yourself celebrate or appreciate or acknowledge their presence. And then when you bring your attention back to you, giving that same kind of regard to you is acknowledging your presence, acknowledging whatever is going on in you. So the quality of attention, there's so many different qualities, but the one that I think really lets people feel that sense of being included and being connected is when you notice. So for me, noticing, because most of what we're doing is tracking and keeping things out. So when you're looking, you're basically saying, okay, that's okay. I don't have to pay attention to that. Oops, got to pay attention over here. So we're looking for danger. So if instead we were looking for connection, and when we're noticing, for me, phlegm alert. When we're when I'm looking, it's more my attention is more pointy, but when I'm noticing, there's more of a quality of gathering, and a little bit more. It has a little bit more misty quality to me. So I'd love for you to notice. Like, that's what I'm doing when I'm on the call. I'm noticing you, and then I'm noticing me, and then very often my words come out of my noticing. So when you're noticing, it wakes up your body intelligence, but it also wakes up your connection. So I'm just noticing that Sherry stopped breathing, so I'm going to just open my breathing again and then look over at Sherry again. So when you're noticing, it invites your whole body reception rather than just face. So noticing for me is the way that I practice shifting my looking out into the world from danger signaling to connection, invitation. So I'm noticing, and my noticing is also, it's an invitation to open. So when I'm noticing, I'm creating safety. So when I notice you and you receive my noticing, my sense is that what you're doing is expanding your sense of, it's all right for me to be open here. It's all right for me to be myself. It's all right for me to just be how I am. And I feel connected to you. And all of us, even though we might have suppressed it way down there, long for that sense of connection, because connection is nourishment. And it's amazing and wonderful to me that we can do all of this with our attention, with our, particularly our noticing. So for me, noticing has more snuggly. So, pay attention is really kind of mean, it's, pokey and you're in trouble and stop doing that, and I'm more important. But noticing is, it has an element of play because there's an element of lightness and tossing. So what I want to invite you to do with your loop of awareness this week is to amplify the quality of noticing. Now, also, there's so much going out in the world that so much of our noticing is out just to create safety because it's so just so effed up right now that I've got to check to make sure it's all right for me to come out of my cave. So if you were in your own noticing of yourself, you're creating safety within you. So you're welcoming your own experience. And your attention can do both of those, and they can actually do both of those at the same time. Is that circulation of your noticing. You can be noticing you, like just notice if there's any place in you that's wanting your noticing right now. And your body will go, hit me. So, and it could be strange. It could be your left toenail, on your left big toenail, or it could be the back of your knee, or it could be something way down in your chest. So noticing, and then I was just getting an image of a parachute landing. So the noticing, or sometimes I like to use jellyfish, but that sense of I'm landing lightly, and I'm also including. So there's a snuggle. I think that we have a high need for snuggle right now, and that we can ask for that. So you also can ask for a kind of noticing that snuggles you. My phlegm seems to be loosening up. So the other thing that I'm noticing about noticing is that it creates flow. So if I'm embarrassed about my phlegm, or I'm trying not to have it, or I don't want you to know about it, or I'm afraid of how you're going to feel about it, it gets it all stuck. But if I just declare, I'm noticing my phlegm and now it's moving here, it literally opens flow. So when you include, then everything that's going on for you gets to be part of what you're connecting to, what you're giving your loving attention to. So for me, noticing, and it also is a corrective, because I grew up, and I imagine many of you did too, and where noticing was always noticing what's wrong. So if I got one of my parents' attention, it was always because of something I didn't do, or I was supposed to do, or or I didn't take care of. So it was always, so when noticing came toward me, particularly from my mother, I cringed. And so it took many years, and actually didn't really unfold, out of that until after she had a stroke, where she couldn't aim that at me anymore. So I had 3.5 years of being able to be in essence with my mother and noticing, because she couldn't talk back, she couldn't move. But what it opened up for me was a sense of, oh, I could notice connection. I could notice what's right. I could notice what's beautiful. I could notice what's opening. I can notice where someone's having a feeling, and I can join my attention with those, and then it flows through. So just the beautiful power of noticing is, to me, one of the delicious aspects and the ever-evolving aspects of our loop of awareness. I also wanted to share with you that Michelle and I have almost got our circle ready to go up on Mighty Networks. We should just send out a little, we'll send out a little notice to everybody so that you can, come and join us. Because one of the things I'm going to put on there are quotes that I'm finding about attention, and then my response to those, and different little videos and what's going on in the world that's directly applicable to our sharing connection. So I'm very excited about that. And it's also a place where you can ask for attention. So the particular quality that, so if you're feeling depleted, or you're feeling scared, or you're feeling wounded, that there you can ask for the kind of attention that you want. So let's continue our play here by looking at our card for today. And I want to just reiterate again, play rather than replay. So let your noticing flow on into the card. And I'm noticing all of the upended, all of the expansion, and then notice how you are receiving that in your own body, and what's shifting or opening up or expanding as you notice you, and then you notice the card. So the sentence is, I'm open to giving and receiving tosses of love, connection, collaboration, and open-ended exploration. Woo, that's a lot of possibility. I'm open. I could also just make that a verb. I open. I open, because I'm not always open. So I open to giving and receiving tosses of love, connection, collaboration, and open-ended exploration. I was just thinking of, with the open-ended, how often tosses are just a confirmation of somebody's bias. So they're asking you something, but you can hear that they've already made a conclusion, or they've already, it's not open-ended at all. It's like, are you on my side or not? So our ability to toss with a kind of, let's see what happens. To me, that's really the essence of this quality we're exploring here. And here's the question. How can I expand my ability to give and receive love, connection, and collaboration every day? How can I expand my ability to give and receive? So, and you can fill in the blank there with, it could be love, connection, and collaboration. It could be kindness and pausing and seeing what's next. So you could fill in, the ... about what you're willing to give and receive. But the quality that I'm really attuned to is the open-endedness. Okay, let's just give it a go. And that quality, I think, allows us to really collaborate with each other. And this, of course, is the play card. And let's come on back to the big group, because I want to say a couple things about play. That play has such a bad reputation, and it's not given really enough credit. We're getting a lot more information about how play is much more effective than working on stuff. But the default is still, this is frivolous. This is not grown up. This is, you should go sit at the kids' table. But the play, if I'm willing to have that open-ended kind of, let's just see what happens, that truly is way more effective than working on it. And I've demonstrated this to myself over and over again. And the quality of tossing, I think, is really at the heart of play. So if you want to review play, go on to our foundation website to Creating Caring Communities, where we have something called the Basic Toss. And there's a direction that you could lead through. It's a great thing to do with any kind of group, because at the heart of connection and collaboration is your willingness to toss. So is your willingness to receive and then to toss back, instead of all of the ways that people call off the game. That's one of the things we play with. So just in your own life, let yourself consider what's one of the main ways that you stop the play. So for me, one of the main ways is I'd get frozen. So I would I get frozen in fear, and then I would just literally drop the ball. When Gay and I first got together, and he would try to play with me, and he would toss something, and it would literally sort of bounce off me and fall on the floor, and I'd be like, feeling like an idiot, and like I was never going to learn how to be anything except serious. And if you give me something to do and to take care of, I can handle it. But if you want to do something open-ended, I didn't know. So I'm just saying that because no matter where you are in your life, you can learn how to toss. And just one of the qualities, you can just imagine like something that you're exploring right now in your own life. And I'd like to use, I don't think I have a hacky sack in here, among all of my equipment, but a balloon or a hacky sack. When you're thinking about something, you could toss the hacky sack from one hand to the other. And it just like, well, on the one hand, we could do this, but then we might do this and we might do this. What might happen here? So tossing and are a great way to let yourself start to open up to play. And then letting yourself really love and notice what has gotten disconnected whenever you get stuck. Because when you're not playing, it's because somebody stopped your play. How humans learn, how all animals learn, all mammals learn through play. And if you get that playing stopped, you really have lost some of the acclimating and the evolutionary skills that are really your birthright. So when you play, it also keeps you from recycling. So when I say play rather than replay, so if you play, you actually are making a new choice. So that's another element of play, is what's just something really different I could do. And I remember when I was first with Gay, we'd be driving somewhere, and I knew where we were going, but we would be heading off in some other direction. And I would say, where are we going? Oh, we're going there. And why are you? Well, because Gay doesn't like to repeat himself. That's one thing. But he just making a new choice, taking a new route. So being efficient, or seeing, well, if I do this, it will get me there faster, isn't often the most evolutionary move. But play, the meandering of play, what opens up with play, gives you an expanded vocabulary, expanded choices, expanded movements. Because, basically, I'm thinking from one of my consciousness readers from, I don't even remember who said this, but maybe it was Castaneda, but I can't remember which one, but all paths lead nowhere. So basically, we're all going to die. So all paths lead nowhere. So choose the one with heart. Choose the one that has joy. Choose the ones that allow you to have buddies and snuggles along the way. So that's what I've been shifting my focus to, rather, because, as a very, very accomplished Virgo, you give me something that needs to be precise and needs to be done, I can handle it. But that kind of precision, and attention to detail sometimes leaves out the possibilities of well, maybe if we just opened this cupboard over here that we don't know what's in it, we might find a bird's nest. So, which I have actually done, is opening up a cupboard that I haven't been in for a long time. We actually got another bird's nest in one of our bike helmets. One of the things I wanted to share with you is that this year especially, I've had 25 years of playing with our property and contributing, and so this year we have more birds than I've ever experienced, and they're running around and chirping, and we have new melodies. And so my sense is, I understand that the number of birds is really your indicator of how healthy your environment is. And, in this year especially, I can tell that all of the critters are feeling welcomed and cared for. And then that's just such a source of joy for me. So each of us, with our noticing, and particularly including ourselves, can be creating that wherever we are. It's like you can give people a card. Here I am, ready to play. So if you want to play, contact me. So let's just see what we've got in our Presence Connect play. Oh, I got to share one other thing with you. I have an EMF container for my phone. But every time I want to make a video, I'd have to take my phone out of this little case. So I have a new one. I want to just show this to you. So it just fits right on there. So that was just something I discovered that's making life easier. So my intention also is ease and flow. So that's been an intention that, Gay and I have shared for many, many years. And so if I know my life is working, if I have more ease and flow. And if I'm getting stuck, that's the place where all of the different skills that we're exploring, those can then return me to ease and flow. And going through life, on our journey, of Ram Dass says, we're all walking each other home. And one of the places we can do that is with Present Connect Play. Tapping for a new combination here. So presence. Notice, see, that was the word. Notice your breath with So if I'm noticing my breath, so first of all, even noticing my breath puts me in direct connection with my insides, my breath, and the flow of my expanding and contracting. So rather than being out here, which so many people are getting their nutrition from their eyeballs, I'm noticing my breath. Oh, and when I add a that adds that connection. So I invite you, so presencing. So if you just try that on with noticing your breath and giving a to your breathing, and then notice, do you increase your presence? Do you experience yourself as being, here I am. So I let my and my breath also be a source of presence wherever I show up, that I'm continuing to notice, and then I notice other people's breath. Noticing breath, like when you're doing a session with somebody, is probably the hardest to notice, because you can't notice somebody else's breath if you're not breathing. So you can do like other kinds of flags, but breathing really allows you to get here, and it's very quick, very effective. So there are lots of different ways that you can use that. So connect is give attention to where others' body or breath is open. So this is our default is basically what's wrong and who are the enemies. I have to sort for friend or foe. So that's what we're not noticing, we're paying attention. So if I'm noticing openness, I'm noticing where there's space. Even noticing that, you might think, well, I'm not doing anything. where you are with your noticing is doing something that's very powerful. Your attention is way more powerful than anything that you could do with your physical body. So if you're noticing openness, it actually invites openness wherever you are. And so you can be sort of like a Johnny Appleseed of openness as you move through the world. You don't have to stop and see, did you get open? Did you get open? But you can just be I was just thinking of ribbons and streaming as you're moving through, that you can be an invitation to play, an invitation to openness. And so most of us need to, to make a shift, to make a big shift, many people need to make that or hear about that lots of times before they actually make the shift. So if you have a persona like mine, because I have a judger that would often follow on my noticing openness and then judge how badly the other person wasn't doing it. So this gives you a chance then to notice any of your personas that come up, and then they can be invited to open to more ease and flow. So play, receive, then toss. So in play, we almost always, and most of the folks that I know, are focused on what do I need to do out here, and really not focusing on, receiving. So the tossing means I get to receive, and I also need to receive before I can toss back, because I haven't got anything, like the balloon or the hacky sack. If I'm noticing you, but I haven't received, I don't have anything to offer. So I want you to open up to, how am I expanding my ability to receive this week? And what would you most like to receive? So you'd like to receive warmth, or you'd like to receive giggles, or you would like to receive some new information about how you can be in the world. So just notice, what's your receiving quotient right now? Just notice, on a scale of whatever. Like I don't want to be around people, or people are bleh. So or yeah, where's the party? So wherever you are on that continuum, if you're willing to receive, it creates openness. So if I receive whatever it is that's coming from you, if I'm willing to receive that, if it's sadness or fear, and I receive that, I notice it, I'm creating openness. And I'm also creating connection. Because in my receiving, I'm circulating whatever it is that's going on, rather than having you be in a little pile and me be in a little pile, and we're sort of lobbing grenades back and forth. So I want to lob openness and humming and possibility, but at the very, very center of that is just the power of your noticing. That was fun. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. I want to share one other thing with you. I'm going to put it up on the board, but I didn't want to wait to share it with you. The choosing and the Viktor Frankl quote on space. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. I've been focusing on that for many, many years. Because he basically says, in that space, is the power of your choice. You can choose how you respond. So I just wanted to read to you a little bit of what Jack Smith, for those of you who don't live in the States, Jack Smith is the guy who basically indicted Trump and has all of this information on what Trump's been up to. So he says, when you face a challenge like we have today, you have a choice about the attitude you take. So I just want to read that again. When you face a challenge like we have today, you have a choice about the attitude you take. You have a choice about your response. So noticing creates space. So rather than having everything jammed up and all much, noticing not only creates space, it allows you to move into that space, to acknowledge it, to share it with others. So that's a place where we have choice. And I just wanted to share that, a person who is, in law enforcement and has been, on, has done juries and explorations all over the world. His focus is on your ability to choose your attitude. I've just found that really inspiring. So, and also a sense of it's not over yet, folks. We, lots of choices still to be made. So I wish you a week of noticing and playing. And please stay and play as long as you'd like with each other. And I look forward to seeing you on Mighty Networks and seeing you next time. Mwah! Lots of love. Take care.